This is the Limo Show.
This is not another story. This is not another drill. I refuse to be another number.
What is up guys, Limo here, and in this video I'm gonna show you the system to dating 2-3 beautiful women every single week and living your dream lifestyle. So in this video I'm going to show you all the fundamental systems you need to put in place to have an abundance of high quality women in your life. You know, if you have the right systems, if you position yourself properly, you can have women that look like this. Okay, I've had many of them and you can have many of them too. Okay, and I'm here to tell you that success with women is a skill set like any other. It can be learned, it can be mastered. Even if you're starting from zero, you can master this. And I just want to give you a quick background. So 8 years ago, as you might know, I had no systems in my dating life. I was lost. I wasn't the playboy I am today at all. You know, I wasn't the guy I am today. Back then I sucked with women. I was relying on luck. And at some point I was just sick and tired of feeling helpless over my dating life. Because I knew that as a man, I had to take responsibility. I can't just rely on luck. I can't just rely on, you know, the universe to align for me to find my dream woman. I need to make something happen. And so very early on, I decided that my current situation was a choice. And since then, I took ownership. I took personal responsibility for my own outcomes in my dating life. And I promised myself to become the best. I knew it had to change. So I chose to improve my social skills. I chose to build my value, improve my peer group, invest in the best mentors, and just demand a better life for myself. And after years of taking action, after years of figuring out what works, I started having legendary results. And now I'm pretty famous for pulling models consistently, having multiple girlfriends, etc. And I spent the past 7 years helping ambitious men like yourself, you know, mainly entrepreneurs, mainly professionals in more than 34 countries all over the world to build their own dream dating life across the globe. It doesn't matter if you're in South Africa or in New York or in Thailand, like it's gonna work the same. You know, female psychology is the same, human nature is the same everywhere. So you can be successful everywhere you go. Now, my long-term goal for you is for you to become the best and most attractive version of yourself. I want you to live a life of freedom, a life of abundance, both romantically and financially. Okay? Now, here's what most men don't realize about dating and seduction. They don't understand that in the end, what we call game, what we call pickup, what we call dating, you know, it's just communication, psychology, and economics, right? All these things are intertwined and all these things work together. So dating is just communication, psychology, and economics. That's why people who are usually good at seduction, they usually make a lot of money. Because think about it, like if you get better at those three things, at communication, psychology, and economics, like you're also gonna get way better at dealing with people and making more money as well. Like if you could improve your communication skills by even 10% over the next year, trust me, you could easily triple your romantic opportunities and double your income. Warren Buffett said that, you know, one of the easiest ways to become worth 50% more than you are now is to hone your communication skills, both written and verbal. So the same character traits, the same communication skills, the same psychological techniques that make one successful with women for either, you know, seduction purposes, sexual purposes, also make one successful with men for networking and business purposes, right? Everything is related. If you can influence high quality women consistently, well, you're also going to be able to influence bankers, lawyers, your friends, etc. And so this is why this skill set is so important to master as a man, because if you can influence high quality women consistently, well, you're also going to be able to negotiate raises at your job, or, you know, deal with other business owners as well, you know, convert prospects into customers better. Like all these things are interconnected. You're going to be able to make a lot more money. So now let's talk about the systems. I want to give you a quote by James Clear, who is the author of the book Atomic Habits, which is a really great book. I highly recommend reading this book. And he says, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Okay, which means that, you know, you can tell yourself that you want to date 2-3 women a week, that you want to date models, etc. But at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to attain that goal if you don't have specific systems that would get you to these goals. Because it's very hard to just wing it, to just get things by luck. You need to put actions in place that are going to get you there. And I'm going to show you how. Now, most coaches, most POA guys, most pickup artist nerds will tell you to go to the mall and approach women endlessly. But that's not very effective. If you're busy, if you're an entrepreneur like myself, if you're running a business like me, you can't do that. Like, you can't just go to the mall for 2-3 hours a day. It's just a waste of time. It's just not efficient, right? So only relying on cold approach is a fatal mistake. Now, I'm not saying you don't do cold approach. I actually think cold approach is kind of a rite of passage. You should master cold approach. You should learn how to do it, but don't rely on that, and don't spend your whole time doing that, right? Chase excellence, not women. Now, as I said, you don't want to be the pickup guy who spends 3 hours every day going to the mall just to talk to women. That's low value and that's inefficient. Okay, so women are going to tell you no, thank you. Now, you probably won't find any real 9s or 10s at the mall anyway. Okay, the real 10s are probably on a yacht somewhere in Dubai or in some cool or prestigious venues in your city. Okay, so I don't consider myself a pickup artist or even a dating coach. I don't like the term dating coach. I'm a consultant. You come to me, you have a problem with women. I'm just a successful entrepreneur who understands and masters communication, psychology, and seduction, and economics, obviously. And I'm gonna give you the solution. That's it. I'm not a pickup artist. I'm not even a dating coach, because I help guys with way more than dating. We talk about finance, we talk about life, we talk about many, many other things. So I'm not a dating coach at all as well. And when I started, I was actually into e-commerce. Like, if you know my story, I was launching, successful e-commerce stores since the age of 17. So I don't center my life around women. Instead, I build an attractive life for myself that women want to be a part of, right? So my system involves 3 main subsystems. Okay, my systems are very precise, very pragmatic. It's not like some woo-woo esoteric stuff like, oh, just meditate, oh, just recite some affirmations and then that's it. It's very pragmatic. But it all starts with your frame of mind as well. Like, you need to go through a paradigm shift, because probably when you were younger, you've been fed some limiting beliefs about how dating should work and how you should date women, etc. A lot of my clients, when they start working with me, they have a lot of epiphanies, because all their lives they've been believing a certain narrative about how dating should work, and when they work with me, they have that paradigm shift as well. So a real identity change is required for you to get the best results in this area. Like, if you want to change your life, you need to change yourself first. And most coaches and programs will tell you to focus mainly on the outer part. Like, just learn a few lines, just learn a few techniques, a few gimmicks, and then that's it, you're going to get women. But I can guarantee you that you're not going to be successful long term unless you truly change the inner part as well. I truly believe that the inner part is as important, if not way more important, than the outer part. So your mindset, your frame, your worldview need to be in alignment with the systems that I'm going to show you. Otherwise, you'll just be masquerading yourself as someone you're not. You're just going to be a clown. You're just going to be a guy trying to fake a certain type of behavior, but you're not going to be congruent with that behavior. You don't want to be faking who you are. You don't want to be pretending to be someone you're not. You don't want to be robotically reciting some lines that you've been fed, right? Because women, I can guarantee you, women will pick up on it. And at some point, they will see that you're just fake high value. You're not the real deal, okay? So let's talk about the subsystems, because the system has multiple components. There are subsystems within the system, okay? So once you have the right mindset, once you have the right frame, my system involves 3 main categories of subsystems. The first one is cold approach and conversational systems. Okay, because obviously you need to learn how to approach a beautiful woman anywhere you go. This is a skill set. The second thing is online systems, messaging, date setting. And that's a big part of it, because nowadays everything is moving online, so you need to learn the online part as well. The third thing is social circle and elite networking. Okay, and all these systems are extremely important as well. So many guys become one-trick ponies, and they only master one of them only. Like, for example, some guys only rely on one source. Like, I'm just gonna approach women. I'm not gonna do online. Fuck online. I've been rejected on Tinder so many times, I'm not gonna do online again, right? And they only do cold approach. Or conversely, some guy only do online and they never approach girls in real life. They just bitch out every single time, or they just give themselves an excuse, and they never master cold approach. They never meet women in real life. They only meet them online and then they set up a date directly. And some other people, they only do cold approach or online or both, but they never build a true long-term social circle. So one of the things that I keep seeing is that most men think that online dating saves them from addressing women in real life or in clubs or in bars. And so they only do online, and those are the same men who will struggle with closing. They would bring women on dates from online, but then they would struggle to really have the proper conversations, to conduct the date in a way that leads to the close. And that's because they haven't really worked on their skill sets in real life. They've been heavily relying on online. And so you don't want to be that guy. Don't limit yourself. You need to become full stack. You need to learn the 3 subsystems. Now, here's the big pitfall to watch out for. So, as I said, most men are too short-sighted about dating. They just want to get their needs met sexually, and that's it. But, that's short-term thinking. Like, they just let the wrong woman consume their time and their attention. And, they just don't have a lot of boundaries, and they just don't have a lot of self-respect. So, you want to be careful about what I call dead-end women, okay? Time wasters. Because there's going to be a lot of women that you're going to be texting, that you're going to be planning things with, but they're always going to postpone it, or they're always going to waste your time in some way. So you want to have boundaries. You want to learn to walk away from the wrong type of woman. Now, my systems will also show you how to filter them and screen for the right woman effectively, but you need to be aware of that. Also, most men, as I said, they never think about building a long-term social circle. They never think about using networking strategies to actually connect with the 1% in their respective cities or globally. There's plenty of networks you can join nowadays to network with the 1% globally. So nobody succeeds alone. Like, you also need an entourage of winners. If you're just a one-man show, if you're just that pickup guy who goes to the mall and just gets, a few dates here and there, but you don't build a long-term thing and you don't make important connections with people, something is missing. So remember, it's one thing to obtain women, but it's another thing to retain women. Like, sex is easy. If you know what to do, sex is pretty easy to get. But the real game is about retaining women. It's about making them truly loyal and obsessed with you. And if you want to retain high-quality women in your life, you need to build a high-quality social circle. You need to have a vibrant lifestyle. You need to have an entourage of winners. Otherwise, she's going to think you're just a loner. You're just a lonely loser, right? So now let's cover one of the first parts, which is cold approach and verbal systems. So the first systems that I want you to master are the cold approach and verbal systems. Because real seduction happens in real life. It doesn't happen behind the screen. It happens in real life. Like online dating and messaging and texting, etc. That's just a way to meet in real life as soon as possible. You shouldn't be chit-chatting with women all the time, etc. online. You should be progressing things very quickly to meet in real life, okay? Because even if you text a beautiful woman online and you plan a date with her, you need to have the conversational skills and verbal systems to make her attracted to you, to make her sexually invested in you, right? So, you need to master verbal communication, especially with women. And that's what we call, seduction, game, etc., right? So I'm sure you're seeing some beautiful women passing by in your daily life. I'm sure if you go to the gym, or if you're going to the grocery store, or even if you're walking, in the street, you're seeing some beautiful women passing by. But for some reason, you're having trouble approaching them. For some reason, even if you approach them, you have trouble converting them into a potential romantic partner, right? So maybe you're talking to a girl and the conversation is kind of bland, it's kind of boring, it's kind of too friendly, or you have trouble really, turning things into a romantic way, right? And so that's one of the major problems that I've seen. And hence the importance of mastering cold approach and the art and science of high status conversational skills. Because if you have those skills, you're going to be able to turn any conversation with pretty girls into a romantic conversation, right? So approaching a beautiful woman is the first step. But then the second step is creating a connection through the conversation. And without a clear verbal structure, without a strategy for doing that, you're just relying on luck. You're just going with the flow. And there's a saying, only dead fish go with the flow. And that's absolutely true. Like, you can't just go with the flow. Going with the flow is exactly what makes people average. It's exactly what makes people mediocre in every aspect of their lives. So I'm pretty sure that if you want to invest in the stock market, you're aware that you need to have a strategy. Same thing for fitness. If you want to build your body to a certain level, you need to have a strategy for it. You need to have a training program. Well, same thing here. You can't just rely on luck with women. You need to have a certain structure that you go about. Now, here's a warning. Obviously, even with the best systems, you won't be able to convert everybody. View it like sales, right? When you're making sales, when you're on sales calls, some prospects are qualified, some prospects are not. And so obviously some women are not going to be the right fit for you. And that's okay. That's fine, actually. That's good news. But if there's a fitment, if they're qualified to be part of your life, if they're single, ready to mingle, then you can easily convert 80% of the women you're talking to. Okay? You just need to implement the right systems. And I've spent more than 8 years learning, implementing, and refining these systems. And these are not pick-up lines. These are conversation structures that are based on communication principles and psychological understandings that can't be outdated. I repeat, they can't be outdated. Like, this can work 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. Okay? And these systems allowed me to date some of the most beautiful women in the world. And although each woman is unique and each woman is different, most conversations can be pretty predictable. So being equipped with verbal systems is going to allow you to have predictability. It's going to allow you to have consistency in your results. And that's actually going to free up a lot of space in your mind, because you're going to have the right mental models in your head. So you're going to know exactly, what to say and how to say it. And you're going to be like a chess player almost. You're going to know moves ahead what to say. And so you're going to be a lot more creative, a lot more, how can I say it? Like, you're going to be a lot more present with women, because you anticipate things. You've been there already. You know how it works. And so it's just going to free up a lot of space. You're not going to be in your head anymore, right? And so in each interaction, there are usually very similar and predictable threads in each stage of the conversation. And so, as I said, these are not pickup lines, okay? You won't be reciting them like a parrot, right? But you will basically know the communication principles behind the lines, so you can generate your own lines 24/7 from within, right? So, as I said, you're going to be like a chess player. You're going to be calibrating the right moves as you go, and you'll always be ahead of her, right? And so this is basically real life social hacking. You're going to know exactly what to do, what to say, and how to move the conversation forward in a way that leads to the close, right? And the verbal system that I teach includes systems for approaching high quality women, but also systems to be able to demonstrate high value properly, flirt properly, escalate smoothly, frame control, sexualize, close, etc. Like, there's a lot of parts in all these systems. And these specific skills can't really be taught anywhere else, because very few men know how to do it in a high value way. Like, even, many so-called PUAs, pickup artists, like they're mistaken in many ways. I remember back in the day, like, I used to read or I used to learn from these people, but I had to unlearn a lot of things, actually, right? And a lot of guys, they're doing it wrong. It's actually low value what they're doing. It's not going to work with high quality women, right? So it's really about having that $1 million mouthpiece. It's about becoming exceptionally good at communicating with women, but also with other men, right? And if you can influence, persuade, and seduce high quality women consistently, well, you're also going to be able to influence bankers, lawyers, your prospects, your friends, etc. As I said, it's 100% transferable. So now let's talk about the online systems. Let's talk about messaging. Let's talk about date setting. So as I said, cold approach is cool. It's a rite of passage. You need to learn it. But only relying on that is a big mistake. Okay, most men, they're just relying on approaching chicks, or just relying on dating, like cheap dating apps like Tinder, etc. And I can tell you right now that cold approach and dating apps like Tinder and Bumble, etc., it's a bit overrated. Like, to be honest, it's a bit overrated. Right now, as we're speaking, we're in 2022. It's just a bit overrated, right? So nowadays, if you don't have a strong online presence, especially with Instagram is the key. And if you don't have a social circle that brings you new women, well, you're massively wasting your time, okay? You're going to end up with lower quality women, and you're not going to be as efficient as you should, right? Do you really think that you're going to get the highest quality women on Tinder or on Bumble? Fuck no. Like, the best women are on Instagram, the highest quality ones, right? Like Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Badoo, like all these apps, they're for peasants, right? Like a woman immediately categorize you as low value when you're using dating apps. Like it's just a flag. Like he's thirsty, he's looking to get laid. However, Instagram is high value because you can showcase your lifestyle and people can see what you're truly doing. And that's where celebrities and high status people are. As we're speaking, Instagram is truly the best dating and networking app ever. The beauty of Instagram is that it can be used both to generate dates, but also to build your social circle and network with top tier men globally and in your city. Okay, it has many purposes, right? And the right Instagram presence will help you be perceived as more attractive, more high status, and in demand. But obviously, this has to be accompanied by great texting skills, because if you have a great profile, etc., but you don't know how to message girls properly, you're not going to convert much, right? Now, you don't need to have thousands of followers. You don't need to be famous. You don't need to be rich, but you have to convey high status properly. You don't need to have crazy looks. You just have to be well groomed. That's it. And so, as I said, if you have the right systems, like you're going to be able to get 2-3 dates a week easily with Instagram. Like with my Instagram system right now, I get at least 10 hot girls lining up every day to talk to me. I get 2-3 dates a week on repeat using my Instagram system. Like, look at how my DMs look every single day. Like, this is how my DMs look. Like, girls just texting and replying and being super eager to meet me, right? And look, I've been traveling the world to over 20 plus countries for the past 3 years, and I've had extraordinary success in every single city I go to. I've had dates. I've been able to build, very strong connections with some women. And even in some cities, like if I stay for more than 1 month or two, I've been able to network with very cool guys in all these cities, like guys who are entrepreneurs, guys who are building businesses, etc. And they're still part of my network. And if I come back there, or if they decide to travel, I can meet them up again. So you're gonna forge very valuable connections with Instagram. And you can follow me on Instagram if you haven't. So I have Limo Oueslati with over 60k followers and limo.oueslati with 6k followers. And both these accounts bring me dates. And I also have another additional account for dates as well specifically. Now also what's good with Instagram is you don't even need to match with these girls to text them. You can text them right away. You don't need to match with them. So that's pretty good. And if you have the right profile setup, if you have the right system to find the girls in your city and text them properly, like, trust me, you're going to be able to convert a lot of them into dates, and it's actually pretty easy, okay? And also, by showcasing your lifestyle, by conveying yourself in a high status way, you're also going to attract other high status men as well. You're going to be able to connect with other high status guys in your city and across the globe, okay? So that's the power of Instagram. Now, here's the third part of my systems, and it's the social circle and elite networking systems, okay? Because as I said, dating and having sex with multiple women is cool. Obtaining women is kind of easy once you know what to do. But the real game is about retaining women. So ask yourself, are you also building a social circle filled with beautiful women and quality men? Are you networking and infiltrating high status social circles in your city? Are you also building long-term connections and alliances with other top tier men in your city and around the globe? Because if that's not the case, you're just selling yourself short. You can either have a top-down approach to dating or a bottom-up approach to dating. Here's the bottom-up approach. The bottom-up approach to dating is just you running around the mall, harassing poor innocent women, spending 3 hours a day on Snapchat and Tinder, praying to get a match or a date, and then ending up with a bunch of women flaking, a bunch of toxic girls, etc. And that's the bottom-up approach. Now here's the top-down approach. The top-down approach is you have cold approach mastered. You have Instagram mastered. You're building your social circle. So you have a cool social circle working for you. You have female friends, you have connections, etc. You're organizing parties, events, VIP tables in prestigious venues in your city. So you have a ton of social proof. You have a ton of pre-selection. And that way you're going to be able to attract women into your life very, very easily. And that's a top-down approach to dating. Instead of just, harassing poor innocent women at the mall, you're now attracting women through your lifestyle, okay? Instead of doing the work and trying to, doing all the manual work, well, it's basically working for you, right? It's like people working on their business versus in their business. I'm gonna give you a business analogy. So a lot of people, they only work in their business, right? They work in their business, which means like they do everything themselves, etc. They don't have any staff, they don't have any delegation or automation, and so they do everything themselves. versus people who work on their business. So instead of working in their business, they work on their business. So they have that top-down approach where they manage the staff, they manage the systems, and the systems and the staff work for them, right? So instead of doing all the work themselves, they kind of automate things. They make things efficient, right? And so that's the point where I want to get you to in terms of dating, right? And a lot of people out there only talk about day game, night game, blah, blah, blah. They just look for a quick fling, right? And this is too short-sighted. Like, do you want to know what's even more powerful than that? Like building a true social circle, becoming its leader. Like imagine having powerful connections in your city. Imagine having access to some of the best events, to some of the best parties, venues, etc. in your city. Imagine, organizing parties with the sexiest women in your city. Imagine having a ton of female friends that constantly hit you up and introduce you to new girls, etc. So that's the top-down approach that I want to get you to, right? How much easier would it be to date high-quality women if you're always surrounded by beautiful women and if you're always putting yourself in the best environments, right? Like if you want to retain high-quality women, you need to have a vibrant social life. You need to be connected, right? You need to have both social proof and pre-selection working for you at all times. Like she wants a man who is in demand, both sexually and socially. So you need to become the man that all the women want and all the men want to be like. That's the thing. You want to be the man that other women desire and other men admire. And let me tell you, building a social circle is absolutely one of the best things you can do for yourself to multiply your opportunities both in life and with women. When I show up in a nightclub with 4 of my female friends in the back of my limo, how easy do you think it is for me to pull hot girls? Like I can tell you, it's the easiest thing in the world. And I don't need to have a limo, I don't need to have 4 girls. I can go to a nightclub and pick up girls and still get laid. But it's just so much easier. It's just like a cheat code. It's the cheat code to dating. Like having female friends, having a social circle, organizing parties and events, etc. is really a cheat code to dating. Now, of course, and as I said, of course, you still need some seduction skills. Like even if you have some female friends, etc., introducing you to hot girls, well, you still need to be able to convert these girls into romantic partners. But it's going to be a lot easier for you. And so when you build a great social circle, well, you're going to be able to organize parties filled with beautiful women every single week. You're also going to be able to organize parties, organize tables. Like I'm going to show you how to organize tables with like 5, 10, 15 girls at your table. And you're going to have booze for free. Like I'm going to show you how to network with hosts, with promoters, etc. to have a comp table, which is like a free table in a nightclub with like 5, 10, 15 girls at your table, right? So a whole new world is going to open up for you. Okay, this is not just about dating. This is really about, really living that rock star lifestyle. You have that lifestyle that is extremely attractive, even to the eyes of other guys as well. So for connecting with other businessmen or connecting with other high status people, like it's going to be much, much easier because they're going to see who you are and what you're doing. So here's how to get there fast. So if you've watched this whole video up until this point, first of all, congrats, because most men nowadays, they don't even have the attention span required to do so. So congratulations on that. And if you're serious, if you truly want to get there, I'd love to show you how you can set that up in your city as well. I'm going to show you how you can put all these systems in place for yourself. You're going to have an abundance of beautiful women in your life using these systems. And as I said, this is a skill set. And like all skill sets, it takes the right guidance, it takes the right practice, it takes feedback, and most importantly, it takes the right accountability and support group. I can confidently say that my programs have the best success rates in the industry because not only do we focus on the inner part at a high level, but we also focus on the outer part at a very, very high level. And we give our clients very pragmatic systems and practices that work like clockwork. This is not like some woo-woo, esoteric, like, follow your gut type of thing, right? There's a lot of things that are very, very, very pragmatic, right? So as you can see, you might have seen online, I've had tons of testimonials. We have more than 400 on our website. Guys who get like 5 dates a week. Guys who sleep with the most beautiful women they've ever been with. Guys who get threesomes, who get, 2 dates a day. And so we've had a ton of success stories. Guys who also organize their first parties, who organize events, etc. Getting the right guidance in this area will honestly save you years of your life. Not only will it save you time, but it will also save you a lot of money, a lot of headaches with women. Like, look at those billionaires who later on, break up with their wives and they give them 50% of their net worth. Like, imagine if you choose the wrong woman for you and at some point she screws you up financially. Like, she files a divorce, or she demands something from you that you can't refuse, and she takes a ton of money for the kids, etc. Like, that's going to save you years of your life, because I'm going to show you how to screen for the right woman effectively as well. And I'm going to show you how to avoid all the mistakes that most men make with women. So I'm going to show you all the systems you need to put in place to consistently attract, obtain, and retain the highest quality women, both in your city and globally. And I'm going to show you all of that without wasting your time, compromising your other goals, or worse, pretending to be someone you're not. And not only that, but I'm also going to show you how to build your dream lifestyle, how you can improve every single area of your life, financially, in terms of health, in terms of mindset, spirituality, etc. Like, we go very, very, very deep. And finally, you're going to be able to join a network of like-minded men around the world, a network of other high performers, of other successful men, called The Circle. And so if you're serious about this, if you believe that you have what it takes to get there, just click one of the buttons below, or just click one of the links below, or maybe it's a link in the description. And either you can join us directly, or you can book a call with us, and we'll be glad to discuss with you and see if you're the right fit. So click one of the buttons below, and I'll see you on the other side. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.